what I do, what I do, da da do, da da do.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design Cities Skylines. My name is Rick and we are back at Cedar Valley, where, as usual, I'll be doing some work off camera. Nothing too crazy compared to like last episode, but I did add a few details here and there, and I definitely expanded the city a little bit further. So let's check our population right now. We are up to 84,000, and our debt has gone down significantly, so that's really good news. And this, unfortunately, might be a shorter episode, or we might not do as much because I really have no time to get this video recorded. But I still wanted to get something out because I know some of you like really crave each and every episode every week. So in this episode, we're probably going to be focusing, I'm sure we're going to be focusing on getting this decorated, this train station over here. Let me zoom in really quickly. By the way, my frame rate has gone down significantly since the last 2 or 3 episodes. Ever since I started zoning this whole area, and even though it doesn't have all that much detail, it's just really taking a toll on my machine. In any case, let me show you a few of the things that I did. Let me go back into cinematic mode. It's more graceful panning and animation. We have this massive neighborhood over here. I did extend it all the way over here. I made some road connections here and there. I even put down another train station that directly connects to the central station that we have here. Zoned some industrial, put down this tall building here. It's the Miyagi car factory or something like that. It's a module it's actually one part of many modules that you can plop and create like a massive industrial area, which I highly recommend. I'm including all that just included in my assets list, so you can scroll through that. But it was featured on the Steam Workshop, I think a few days ago, so you can still find it by that. Now, I've been adding a few details, like for example, I created this pedestrian paths that go across the railroad tracks, and people seem to be using it to basically go from these neighborhoods to all these factories and warehouses. And it seems to be working quite all right. I also put down some schools here and there, as you can see. I've hidden fire stations. I'm using the Ghostbusters fire station. I don't know if I can find any right now, but I know I have a whole lot. I can show you that later if you want. You can let me know in the comments and I'll show you in the next episode. That actually makes more sense. In any case, I also created a few parks. And one of the coolest things I did, in my opinion so far, is I added some lines to, this is the exact same concrete texture that we had before, but I added some of these lines that sort of split the texture into concrete slabs. I'm not 100% sure on the angle, and the reason is because I can't really control the angle of this. It basically snaps to like a universal grid across the map, but it does look nice. So I might add like another line here just to like make it a bit more random, because right now the whole texture is basically this square with 2 rectangular slabs. So maybe I'll make another tiny cut here so that we get a bit more no so repetitive texture. It does look really nice on areas like this, for example. Like if I show you this, we have some ghost cables here, so do not mind that. Ignore that for the time being. Let's see. Let's look at it here, for example. It really adds that extra level of detail that you wouldn't otherwise get if it was all concrete and nothing else. It still looks a little bit repetitive, but significantly less, and it definitely adds a lot more detail without me, having to add extra things. And I'll come back to this because I'm trying a few other techniques on how to get concrete not so repetitive. We're going to be working or using some of those techniques for this area of the map, but I'll get to that in a moment. This may not be news to some of you, but you might have noticed that some assets from your cities might have disappeared. And if you remember correctly, we used to have some beautiful tanks in this area of the city, and I just didn't went in and demolish them. What happened is that a user that goes by the name of NGON, basically, as far as I know, from what I could gather from reading Reddit, he basically rage quit and took all of his assets off the Steam Workshop, which means that I was left, and me and many other people were just left with gaps in their cities where the assets would be. So unfortunately, I didn't actually, I've never done a backup of actual assets. I should probably do that maybe for the next episode. I know I can retrieve all the assets from. There's a Reddit post. I'm going to include it in the link in the description if this problem happened to you. So you can re-download all the assets manually that other people have uploaded to different sites. But it's kind of a shame. We will have to come back and redo many of these areas. Let's see. I had all these like ore rail yard things in here, and they're also gone. I notice what else? So we used to have some football/soccer fields here. They're also gone. So, and I noticed a few other things, but I can't remember right now. So it's it's a little bit unfortunate, but we'll have to. I mean, we have this clear gaps in here, which are pretty terrible, but we'll have to come back to those and fix them manually, just so you know. If you want to read more all about that, like I said, I'm going to include the link in the description to the Reddit post where you can download the assets and, find out what really happened. Now, another thing that I almost forgot to show you is that this stretch right here, remember we used to have a similar interchange like we have up here. Let me see if I can position the camera in a nicer angle. And I thought it was a bit too much, too freeway to be, because this is still an avenue. It's not a freeway. And this one is working flawlessly. Now that I make all these changes and I added extra lanes and everything, so we have many ins and outs from this area of the city to this area of the city. Not so many going into the freeway, but that doesn't seem to be a problem just yet. So, knock on wood. Yeah, what I was saying is this one I wanted to keep it a little bit simple and not have like an overpass or like a elevated avenue that just connects and then has on and off ramps. So what I wanted to do instead is have some sort of like avenue that has parks on each side. So it will look more like our main avenue here. And I mean, because clearly this area, it's in dire needs of like green lush areas. So if we have time after we finish with the train station, we're going to tackle this little segment right here. What else? Yeah, so I did some extra zoning by the coast here. So we have some office space zoned out. I didn't do all that much, in terms of detail. It's just, hey, let's zone office, and that was it. I didn't. I need to come back because we have all these gaps. I have some ideas on how to improve this, but that might be a task for a future episode, or might do it off camera in between cuts. Another thing that I did is at another university here, which obviously needs to be, beautified. So that's another project, hopefully for later. We still have this one to be completed. Hopefully, I mean, sort of my goal for the next couple episodes, just so you know, is to like start finishing a few of these tiny little projects. And I'll promise you, we're only a few episodes away from the airport. I wanna hit at least 100K, and I'm not pushing against doing that. In fact, every single episode, you notice that I'm adding more and more buildings. So we'll get there very, very soon. I know I'm like setting up like really high expectations, but it's not that I'm avoiding it. It's that I really, really want to finish all these unfinished projects that I left throughout the city, because I don't know, it just feels bad abandoning like this edge of the city. Really drives me nuts. I really want to come sit down and finish, like, for example, this area right here. I know I'm going completely off topic now, but I want this to be like a really nice, very like a commercial area that's mostly like big box stores. Maybe have a whole strip of dealerships on this area, that kind of thing. So that in and of itself is probably like 2 episodes at the very least. So it's a lot of work. We still have to complete this area, continue whatever the development of this is, have connections and to the freeway, because right now the only connection to the freeway, if you're coming on this side, it's this one. So it's I think we have room here for another one. like I said, there's so many tiny little projects throughout the city that it's. I mean, we're here. We're gonna be here for a while, and I don't want to start at the airport and have to like abandon halfway through it and do other things. And actually, my goal for the airport episode is to maybe split it into 1, 2, or maybe even 3 parts, and consecutive parts, just because I feel like it's going to be a huge undertaking. I also need to download the mod that allows me to unlock all the tiles. Let me address one last thing before we get into the actual building aspect of this episode, which is traffic. Some of you in the comment section noted that they saw a huge conga line of traffic and cars. I mean, we can even still have some of them over here. In the previous episode, the line in the previous episode actually went from here to all the way up to here. I kid you not. It was a huge line of traffic. You might be able to go back to the previous episode and see it. And the reason why I didn't say anything about that, I was very aware of that fact. But in fact, I mentioned it in the last episode, but I had to cut it short because I cut that part off, basically, because the episode was already way too long. So, but let me explain, because I didn't think no one would notice, but I guess a lot of you did notice. And what happened is, so there's this YouTuber that goes by the name of Priest. You might have know him from his Verukio Cities Skylines series. He recommended a few episodes ago that I should download the no despawn mod, which basically makes it so that traffic jams, when they happen, the game, every once in a while, if the cars are stopped for a long period of time, they just simply despawn. That way you don't get massive backups, which seems to be the case right now. And that's all fine. That's a good challenge if you want to download that mod, and if you're really certain about your road network, you shouldn't have a problem. However, that usually works well when you have a mod like traffic precedent, for example, or traffic manager, or whatever the traffic thing allows, whatever the traffic mod allows you to like turn off lanes and make control the turns and everything. Look at this massive backup. It seems like all the people are going to this one building. In any case, I said this a million times already, but I'll repeat it once again. I don't like those mods because if for whatever reason they become, no longer compatible or no longer maintained by the developers, and a new update from Cities Skylines comes out, those mods will break your save game. Those are mods that you cannot revert. It's not like NGON pulling all his assets from the workshop, and now all I have is gaps that I can easily fix. If you change your lanes and then that mod no longer works, you're screwed. So I avoid those mods, and I've since unsubscribed to the no despawn mod, because without traffic precedent or any of those mods, I really can't control how the traffic behaves here. I now have some options into like getting this to work properly. We still need to do some massive mass transit reform here, because we used to have a bunch of bus lines that go from here to here and from here to here and basically connecting the different neighborhoods. I got rid of many of those when I redid the harbor area, and I haven't replaced them. So there's a lot of improvement that needs to go into a mass transit, and I'm hoping that will aid with this massive traffic backup that we have here. All right, so it's time to start building a few things. And like I said before, we're going to be focusing first on the main station. I want to get this whole area done if I can. Hopefully I can. And as you can see, I already started decorating this parking lot area. It doesn't look like much, but with this new, concrete slab texture, it's looking pretty nice. I also manually added, I got this idea from Flux, so I'm going to give credit where credit is due. He sometimes uses manholes to like prevent, from repetitive textures. So I added this. I mean, all I did is just added 5 manholes, and it already looks a million times better. So I added a few more over here, by the way. I also added I added this like clock thing. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah. I have this clock asset. I also have some benches, some fences, some of these toilets that were also featured on the Steam Workshop recently. Trying to get the camera out to position is really tricky. I also added some, some train traffic lights. Is that what the technical term is? I'm not sure. But overall, it's looking good. Even this path right here, I continued the fence. This is very much work in progress, and I'm most likely not gonna finish this for this episode. But we have this path that kind of goes around the wall and connects back to the industrial area. So I've seen a few people walk through here, but not a whole lot. However, here I extended this path all the way into this building. So now people can easily get from this neighborhood, walking all around here, going across the freeway. Fortunately, I can't really fix this thing easily, so I'm going to leave it like that. You didn't see it. And they just walk all the way straight into the train station. So now we have a lot of movement here. I'm going to try to replicate the same parking lot design on the other side. There's a few more details that I want to add. I also want to add cars in here so that it looks a little bit more active. A few more fences, maybe a few more cones. We'll get to that in a moment. But before I do any of that, one more thing that I wanted to point out, and actually it's a bit of a thank you to one of the viewers in the previous episode who mentioned that in order to get people to use this train station, you actually need to have side streets, because that's how people enter into your station. Remember, we only used to have this main avenue, and which, by the way, these are now directional. This avenue goes in this direction, this one goes in this direction. I had to make that change so that the traffic on this massive interchange thing would flow nicely. So, just FYI. In any case, since I've added these two roads, now we're seeing... I've even seen like up to 700 people use this station. So it's good. It's good. People are actually effectively using the station, which makes me happy. And let's start building some things. So I want to start by adding a few cars here and there. So I want to search for van, because for some reason cars only show up when you search for van. If you search for car, it just doesn't work. And it's cool because I'm guessing the keyword it's using is vanilla. So yeah, let's start putting down some of these cars. And I'm not going to use the prop line tool, even though I could, just because I think it will be easier to do it this way. Just like, random clusters of cars, different positions. And then I'm going to choose different models. And it's all going to look great. Let's do a few more over on this side. All right, that seems like a good first batch of cars. Let's do a few more of these. What are these called? The Jeep Prop Vanilla version. Sure. So one thing I'm doing also is like every once in a while, just rotate them so that they look like they park in different orientations. Also, I keep getting this comment about the handicap spots. I mean, I have really no control over them. The asset that I'm using already comes with the handicaps on the one corner, so I can't really do all that much about that, so I apologize. I usually try to like cover them with other cars because that's just easier, and it works. So yeah, let's keep adding a few more of these, rotate them every once in a while. I think this should do it. There we go. All right, so now we have two batches of car. Let me add a few more just so that I don't keep making cuts on progress updates and just complete the entire parking lot with cars. I'm not going to fill every single hole. That didn't sound right. I'm not going to fill every single space. That sounds better with different cars, but I do want to have some variation. So let's just resume in just a second. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna add some bollards around the edges so that cars can just break in, because I'm hoping to put some kiosks to hopefully charge for parking here. So it's not gonna be all free parking. And let's see, let's search for some bollards. And by the way, I added a few trucks here, just to like break the design a little bit and not have all cars or vans. Let's actually search for bollard singular. That way we can get all the possible options. I think I'm going to go with the wood bollard and definitely going to use the prop line tool here. So I'm going to start by doing this. I also need to turn anarchy off, and I want to render the vanilla resolution. That way I can see if they're all messed up, which they are usually. But it's not a terrible thing for bollards, at least. So what I want to do is maybe extend this a little bit so that, you know, cars still can get in, but also like don't get a million different assets. And hopefully that will, you know, make it easier for my computer to render all these assets. I think that's probably good enough. Let's take a look. That looks fancy. Yeah, I like it. Let's add a few more. So I think we're gonna start over here. Just bring it. Actually, let's just go all the way, and then we remove the ones that we don't want. One thing I want to do too is add some traffic cone. Actually, let's just search for cone, because I have the traffic barrels and I have the traffic cones, and I want the cones here. So what I basically want to do is I want to split this parking lot into two areas using these cones. So I'm gonna, you know, space them out a little bit, and I think that actually works. I'm gonna commit this change. There we go. And let's see, where else do we need traffic cones? I think I want to have like an exit here too. So let's make that a reality by getting a line of cones here. Okay, so I guess this wasn't a good solution. You know what? Let's get rid of these. They don't look nearly as good. Maybe we can just create a line of cones here. That might be easier. Yeah, that way we add you know, a little bit more detail, and maybe even create lines of cones at each and every one of these parking areas. There we go. Not too bad. Should we do the same over here? No. We can have cars freely drive around here. Maybe what we should do is come up with like a line of cones here. Let's separate them a bit further out. And then we can just curve it like this. Not necessarily curve it, but just like direct traffic in the direction that we want. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And it's already, I mean, this parking lot is already looking much more detailed than before. I think we need two more things. I want to add some kiosk at the entrance of these two parking areas. That way it looks like you have to pay for your entry here. That way you can only get in through, you know, by bribing the security guard or something. I don't know. Well, not necessarily bribing, but just paying for it. And see if we can fit this in here. This may not look great, I gotta be honest with you, but actually it doesn't seem like it will be super bad. We have the two berries at the middle. Actually, you know what? If I get rid of this one and I use the closed barrier. Oh, this one is like huge. Oh, this is nice. Oh man, we really need to use this. Basically at each one of these streets, like whatever parking streets. Let's redo that one. Maybe start over here. No, it's kind of clipping through the car. You know what? Like let's get rid of that car. And maybe this one. That one probably can stay. I haven't used this security barriers or police barriers or whatever you want to call them ever. It's the first time. But I think this is a great use. Just like blocking the access on this particular roads. Wow, that is looking good. I'm liking this. And it's simple. It's not crazy. We even have some like parking signs on each or on some of these. But it's looking realistic enough. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to replicate the same design over on this side. Maybe make some slight variations, especially because we have a little bit more space over in this corner. So let me just resume in a second. And voila, this is how the other side of this train station looks like, with pretty much the same design aesthetic. I went in, I added a few more cones, a few more of these bollards. basically cars throughout so that it looks somewhat busy. And I mean, I even throw in basically this this wall that carries over from the design that we have, separating the different, the residential area from the freeway, basically. And it kind of goes around. We have this fence over here that also goes all the way into here. Same issue with the fence that kind of starts right before the bridge. I know there's like a big step here, but that's just the weird terraforming glitch that I can't really fix. Now, over here in this back lot, just added some trash and some barrels just to make it, a little bit more rough around the edges, so it's not like all perfect. And obviously I added cones, these barriers, some manholes throughout, and I even added some lights. Let me show you how this looks at night, because it's really something else. Actually, not really, but this whole area is now pretty much lit up and bright, and hopefully a little bit more secure when it comes to people stealing cars, I guess. So next, I want to do something about the both sides of this train station. So what I'm thinking of doing is going through my parks here, and I think I'm gonna use this. Let's see, what space do we have here? If we do 3x3, that's just let's keep that in there. Actually, let me pause the game real quick. Let's see, let's add that one, and 3x4. That one's not gonna fit. Also want to grab the parking lots from this set. So I think I have a 3x3, right? I do not. I should have one though. So I'm sure you can guess from now, I'm going to fill many of this areas with parking lots as well. But in this case, I'm going to also include a few more trees. And the reason why I have so many parking lots is because in my mind, and I know the game doesn't necessarily work this way, but in my mind, I want to encourage people to drive to this station and then take the train to wherever it is they're going, especially if they're working, somewhere in this area of the city. That's why I want to have ample parking so that people always find a spot. And now that I have all these three designs, I think I want to use this one's in the corner. So let me get... Actually, I'm going to put this one somewhere in the middle. So let's get rid of that. And let's bring this one here. Get rid of this one. And this one, let's just bring it here for the time being. So I'm going to delete that. There we go. Perfect. So let's clone this one bit at a time. Oh, that was a tight space. Let's remove this one real quick. Let's keep going this way. Wow. Is that like perfectly aligned? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 5 on each side. You just saw that. Everyone saw that. It's all good. It's perfectly symmetrical, and there's no doubt about it. Let's do the same design over on this side. And I think we're gonna keep the horse looking over there. I think that should be enough. I should probably do the parking lots first instead of putting down. But I guess it worked. So never mind. Never mind. Now we have an issue here with the other go. I can just align it to that. So that is a no problem. Let's grab another fountain on the edge. And here we're going to have an issue with the zoning. So see if I can fix it. If I click here, it's going to mess things up badly. Actually, what if I just do that? There we go. That should hopefully fixed my ability of putting this down. But now, for some reason, oh yeah, I have an extra tile here. Interesting. Let's see, do I have another one that will fit 2x3, 2x2? Do I have like a 3x1 something? Or 1x3 to be more specific? I might have one. Let me scroll through some of these things. 1x3. Actually, it doesn't. I think if I move it over there. That looks okay. And then I can just use this tool to paint that area. So now we filled that little gap, even though I wish those were trees. The other thing that I can do is actually make it easier for me and convert this to the same type of road that I have on the other side, which will make it perfectly symmetrical, if I'm not mistaken. I think it will be. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So let's grab this one. I mean, I'm kind of lying because there's still a bit of a gap there, but at least it looks okay. So that's good enough in my book. But now we have this beautiful parks on each side of the train station. I wonder if this statue should probably look the other way, you know, facing outwards instead of inwards. That's probably better. And you know what else we need here? I think what we need is some pedestrian crossings. Maybe there and maybe there. That way people can just cut across the street and not necessarily have to, you know, walk all around. Hopefully this will increase the usage of our train station. And I think in order to get this to totally work, we're going to need to draw an invisible path underneath this thing so that there's a connection there. And I wonder if I should do the same over in this side. It's probably not a bad idea. So let's go ahead and do that. Just extend this little path all the way to there. Should we bring it all the way to here? Why not? Why the hell not? There we go. Cool. So now we have a proper connection to this neighborhood. Hopefully this... I'm expecting a lot of people to use this path. Seriously. Oh, and also I need to like make a little pedestrian crossing here. What am I doing? What's going on here? Oh yeah, okay, so people are indeed crossing the street here. And, oh, this messed up with my zoning. I see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this zoning. And everything will be back to normal, hopefully. And let's speed things up and see how it looks like. All right, that looks good. Now, yeah, a lot of people are using this, which is amazing. And I'm hoping a lot more would use this in the near future. And, I mean, this street looks gorgeous. Just need to... Sorry, I need to just zoom in here. With all these streets on each side, it really, really does look nice. And I haven't even done anything. This is all how it's being rendered by the actual houses that I zoned against this this road. And yeah, they do that weird turn, but it totally works for me. And here, yeah, they're just walking inside of a planter. For some reason, they're stopping there. I think there's like a... I think we can fix this. Hang on, let's do this real quick. Let's get rid of that. Actually, if I get rid of that, yeah, they just go around, which is not great. So let's see if we can fix that. Oh, they still stop. Okay, that's better than having them go around, I guess. So let's take a look at the usage. 141. I guess I need to check at the end of the week. And I think this will be a fantabulistic time, if that's even a word, to maybe jump into a time-lapse, because it wouldn't be an episode of Let's Design Cities Skylines without a time-lapse. So let's cue up the music. There we go. And let's get started. So here I went for a slightly different aesthetic. I kept things a little bit minimalistic, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to turn out at the beginning, but I'm actually kind of liking it. It's really simple. It's not cluttered with anything. And I actually got the inspiration from one of the main avenues in New Delhi when I was there visiting last year. I think the avenue is called Rajpath. I'm probably like completely, for those of you who are in India right now, in the comment section, let me know if I pronounced that avenue right. It's basically where the gate of India is, the big monument and the government house in the back. But in any case, I'm going to include the link in the description so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm really happy with this design. Super simple. I've never done anything like this before, except, adding a few bushes, all these, dirt pedestrian roads on the side, and nothing else. Nothing else. And I think it looks great, even zooming out from way back here. It's a really beautiful design, and traffic seems to be flowing, a bit better. There's some clogged moments here and there, but I think for the most part it's fine. One thing I did also off camera, and before I show you this in detail, I'm gonna keep the mystery until the last second. I did some rezoning of some of these sections and neighborhoods. So you saw this during the time lapse. But I also got rid of the zones for this office areas, which were limited to level 2 growth. So I'll also need to maybe fix this. There we go. Fantastic. And maybe fix this like that. Maybe. I think that works. So yeah, let's take a look at this massive park, because this one is also pretty minimalistic, and I'm not gonna say simple because there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it's definitely not as cluttered as some of the other parks that I've been building so far. I wanted to keep things simple so that you can actually see what's going on inside of this park. And obviously, so we have some picnic tables here, a bunch of benches throughout. This will be the main feature, which is this fountain. I also not only used the surface painter to get this paths going, I also put down actual paths underneath, which gives us this light posts. And yeah, as you can see, all these people are using these paths that are underneath this texture that I applied with surface painter, which is really good. It makes this whole area very much alive. And together with this pedestrian crossings, it makes it so that people will definitely use the park as a shortcut from wherever it is they're going. Even though, this is a fake park, right? As far as the game is concerned, this is not a real park. But hopefully this works and it strikes your fancy. It definitely struck mine because, I'm liking it a lot, and I'm not planning on making any changes to this, at least for now. I'm really, really happy. We have this little courtyard here with the grill and a bunch of tables so that people can, eat a sandwich and whatnot. Over here we have this little fenced areas with statues of many kinds. We have the statue of tree with almost looks like a hand kind of coming from underground and trying to grab the air or something. I know, it's kind of crazy. But this was such a heavy statue that I had decided to put it on each end. Heavy as in this is such a big footprint that I felt like if I didn't put something this big on this side, it would look or feel a little bit odd. So I went for the two corners. Now, same treatment over here. We have this cool little statue, and I also put down specific or special texture only for this area. I also love how the grass is kind of growing in between. I didn't want to fill everything with a tile set. Just have a nice little planter around the monument. Which, by the way, let me make a quick remark. I did make a custom park, if I can find it, using the same statue. Over here, I didn't show it at the beginning of the episode. I think I just flew by the area. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's right next to the freeway. We also have some details here on the freeway that I want to add throughout. So, a couple things. Just getting a little bit off topic. But yeah, I'm really happy about this whole area. And again, trying to keep things a little bit simple, not just because they actually look really nice, but also, this is really helping my frame rate. Imagine if I just filled everything with trees. It would basically look like this. Even though this one is really nice. I really like this one. In case you haven't seen this one, let me just give you a really fast tour. There's a lot going on here, a bunch of different trees of different kinds. We have picnic tables, and this seems like it's being inherited from an old save game. So yeah, that happens from time to time. There used to be a big roundabout here, if you remember I think episode 2 or 3 of this series. In any case, going back to the park, I'm definitely excited about the direction that this is going. It totally fits the area, in my opinion. And one last thing that I wanted to show you is I set the, not the theme, but I set the Parks and Recreation policy, which would potentially increase the land value of whatever parks are in this district. However, the only real parks that we have are this one, but we have so many of them that I decided to make that, enable that policy anyway. So hopefully all the areas around the train station will start seeing an increase in land value. I guess this is like super noisy. Yeah, maybe they hate it because of that. But hopefully this will offset this to some degree. I guess we'll have to see. Pat, unfortunately, that's all the time that I have for now. So if you enjoyed this episode, I highly encourage you to go click the like button. And also, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. There's also a link in the description to the full playlist in case you missed an episode. And that's all that I have to say for now. So I want to thank you all for watching. Really hope to see you in the next one.